Okay, let's make a start. So this is the card that I'm basing today's project on, and today's project is going to look quite a lot different to this. Now I have used, to make this card, the ornamental lattice. Again, I think this is one of those die sets that you look at and you think, oh my, that's great, doesn't that look amazing, and what would I do with it? It is quite a big die. I think the largest die is 197 by 156 millimeters, so nearly 20 centimeters by just over 15.5 centimeters, so it's quite a big die. However, there are so many different things you can do with it. You don't have to use this part, you don't have to use the ornamental lattice part at all, you can just use the middle bits. So you've got a beautiful lattice rectangle here with its own cutout die. This will cut into your card. So if I show you, see, this die here will cut into your card. Okay, there's no cutting edge on this. So if you wanted to cut it out, then you would use the next die up to actually cut it out of your card. And then this next die will give you a matting and layering piece. And then you can put that within your frame if you want to, or you can just use these three pieces. It's entirely up to you. Now, when I started yesterday, I was just using the middle bits, and then I thought, well, it's a nice card, but I don't know, it looks a bit lost on its own. So I cut out the backing piece. So you see here, if I just, I know it makes a noise on camera, so I'm sorry. I just cut this piece out. So this just cuts a flat piece of card like this. That will just cut that out. And I've cut it out twice. And what I've done is I've scored 1 inch down on the long side and then creased it and then stuck those two pieces together. So I've cut that out twice and I've stuck those two pieces together so that that will... my gem's fallen off, so that will give you your stand, your card will stand up then, because it's got a fold on it, so it will stand up. I'm just going to put this little gem back on my card because I don't want to lose it. I don't know why it didn't stick. Okay, so that's what I've done with that. Now you can do that, and I've done it again on the card that I'm making today, but it's a portrait card today rather than a landscape. But you could also, if you only wanted to cut one of these pieces and just have it as a standing, you know, stand alone, so that it can't stand up on its own, then you could use the card stand and make your own card stand. So you make the stand and your card will just stand on mantelpiece, piece of furniture, whatever it is, on its own, and then you've got the whole of the white space on the back of the card to write your crit in. And I do think this is a really clever little die set. There are still some in stock, not very many, and they're £19.99 a set. However, I do think they're one of those must-haves. I would be lost without this. I just think it's so clever. So I've cut my base stand out in white card, okay? And the reason I've used white card is because it's Lisa's extra smooth card, so it's 250 GSM, and on its own it probably wouldn't stand up properly. But then I've gone ahead and cut out the lattice pieces in the satin card, and I've stuck those onto the satin card. Now, I wouldn't recommend cutting it all out in satin card and sticking it all together, because the beauty of this card stand is that you can fold it flat to go in your envelope. But if you make it completely out of satin card, it will become very, very bulky, and the chances of it actually lying flat nicely are quite slim, and you will risk cracking the card. So I would cut it out of white and then cut your extra elements to add on the top. And when I cut these out, so when you do your lattice piece, and get the right one, you put it on your cardstock, on your die cutting machine, like that, taped into place so that you've got an even frame around the lattice piece, and you cut that out, and it will cut out a whole piece. So a whole piece like that with the lattice in it, okay? But what I did was I cut off these two pieces. Because I've already got them in white, I've already got my spine. So these two pieces will be freestanding, and then I can just glue them on the top, which I've done on both sides. I've only put the lattice on one side because I've only put this together quickly this morning just to show you, okay? But it's a really clever die set, and I think one that, if you've got the ornamental lattice, I just think it's a really good die set to have, because it just enables you to use that die set as a sort of a flat piece, but still be able to stand it up. Okay, so that's that. Then I've used the Petite Petals, but again, a really, really clever little die set. Now, I've run mine through, as you can see, I've got loads here. This might give you a clue as to what the card might look like today. So I did all those yesterday, and I've just got to make little flowers out of them. But on this card here, you can see they're all like blues and greens. And again, I've got loads cut out here that I ran through yesterday. And what I cut those out of was some shaving foam backgrounds that I did ages and ages and ages ago. I think I actually did it on a demo on a Facebook Live, so it will probably be on YouTube somewhere. But I just think it's such a clever way of doing backgrounds, and they've been sat in my drawer for ages, and I thought I could use those, I could make flowers out of those. So I ran my little die set through. How clever is this die? You can run that through your machine and you've got all those flowers all in one go, and all the little centres. And that's exactly what I did on here. I just cut my pieces out, ran it through my die cutting machine, and then ended up with loads of little flowers that I can stick together, ready to use on another project at a later date. And then you get the branch and then 3 stems. So if you wanted to do a bunch of flowers like this, then these are the ones you'd use, these little stems here, and then the branch is here for like your little tree branch, which is how I'm using it today. Okay, now the other clever thing with this die is not only can you sit and cut loads of flowers out, but when you've cut your flowers out, you're left with that. Now if you've got a card that you're making in specific colours and you've used inks to make the rest of your card, you can also use this as a stencil. Okay, so if I just put that on a piece of card like so, I'm going to use purple just so as it shows up, and then ink through my little piece of card. It doesn't matter if you go over the edge because you're going to cut it out in a minute anyway. Well, I'm not, but you would. And I'm not because it just takes up time. So I've inked through my stencil, and then I'm going to place my die over the top because I can. Doing it right, you do it the right way, don't it? Helps. See? Take that down and then run it through your die cutting machine, and then you end up with your flowers to match the rest of your card. So there are 2 or 3 ways of using it, and I just think it's such a clever little die set. And at £8.99 with £6 off, I think that's a brilliant price. There are quite a few in stock, so you don't have to rush off now and buy it, but because they'll still be there after I've finished. But if you were looking for a clever little die set for flowers, that's the one I'd go for. Okay, now, those of you that were with me on Monday will know I said I wasn't going to do another shaker card. But look, I thought, I can't resist it. I've used two different sets of mermaid tails in here. Now you wouldn't think, looking at it, they're actually a yellow and a blue set. And they're from the pastel set of mermaid tails that Lisa bought out ages ago. No longer in stock, sadly. So I just used it underneath the lattice, no sort of messing about with bits of cards or whatever. And I just thought it gave it a really nice background, just to give it some sort of bit of different interest. And then my sentiment is taken from Lisa's foiled sentiment stickers, and I've actually used on today's card a sticker from the birthday family side rather than the everyday sayings, because I don't use that set enough. I've got loads of that set left, but the everyday sayings are going down quite rapidly. So that's the card that I made as a sample, and then we're just going to move on to today's card, which putting it together is quite quick, which is why I've gabbled on for so long really. So again, I've cut out my 2 base pieces of card with that plain die, and then I've scored 1 inch down at the top so that I've got a fold, and then I've just glued the 2 pieces together, okay, and that will give me my card to stand up. Then I've cut the actual ornamental frame out, and I've used Lisa's original Euphoria glitter card. Again, not in stock at the moment, but it will be back. I've already cut it out and I've already glued it down, only because it's such an intricate die, it takes a while to add the glue all around and stick it down, and I wanted to make sure it was going to be stuck ready for today. Now, I've also cut out the frame, the lattice frame, and I've also cut the matting piece, and I've used Lisa's fabulous holographic card for the backing card. Now, there is stock of the holographic card. It's $29.99, which I know sounds like an awful lot of money for a pack of card. However, there are 36 sheets of this card in 12 by 12. And when you look at this card, you will never see another holographic card this beautiful. I've had lots of different holo cards, and none of them have got this range of colours in. I mean, you can see, just while I'm holding that on the camera, those different colours on there, and that is the card. There's nothing to do with any lighting I've got here. I just think it's amazing. And I've also used Lisa's white and black Euphoria glitter card. Again, $24.99. You get 24 sheets in that, 12 white and 12 black. And again, yes, it might seem like an awful lot of money to spend on cardstock, but the quality is absolutely second to none. If you order the holographic card, when your postie arrives with your parcel, A, he'll hate you, or she'll hate you, and B, you'll think, what on earth is this I've ordered? I don't remember ordering anything this heavy, because it weighs a ton. It's amazing stuff. Anyway, so I've cut all my pieces out, and I've already glued my frame to my matted layer, as you can see. I've already added my 3D pads because I want this piece to be a little bit raised in the middle of the card, just to give it a little different look really. I could have done it all flat, but you know me, I don't really like flat. So I'm just going to add that into the middle there, and I know it's going to fit perfectly because that's the way it's designed. Okay, and then I'm going to add my branch. Now my branch is also cut from glitter card. Now this was, again, the original glitter card that Lisa bought out, you know, the mixed pack, that beautiful pack. Which, as I've said, is currently out of stock, but I know is on its way back. Now this is going flat because everything, my frame is already raised up. So I'm going to stick my branch down on my card. I will take some of this glue off because these branches are quite narrow. So I will take some of that off so that it doesn't ooze. And then stick this down across the corner. I do love like branches like this. I just think they're so cool. I'll just use my tweezers just to put it down. See, it has oozed down the sides, and I've only sort of doctored it a little bit. Now I'm going to put it at an angle because I want it to come down into the card. And obviously I've got glitter card there that my branch is going to stick to. So I'm not worried about it not sticking everywhere, because I know there are points on here where it will stick. And once I've put the flowers on top as well, then you know, I don't need to worry about it sticking down, because the flowers will help as well with that anyway. Okay, so there's my branch. But I mean, there's far too many here. I've made loads, but I've made loads so that I can sort of work out where I want what flower, if you're with me. So on this one, I completely covered the branch, and I don't know, should I have covered the branch? Did I need the branch if I was going to put them like that? I suppose not, but at least you can see little bits of the branch, so you know it's actually a branch of flowers. Are you with me? So I'm not going to put as many on today's, just so that you can see the difference. On the picture on the actual die set, it does show them just on the end, and yeah, I suppose, yeah, they look okay just on the end, but I don't know, I like to make it, I like to make it look really snazzy. So I've gone with different colourways, and I've gone it's like on the big flowers, you can see that I've done two different ones. So I've done white, black and white, and black, white and black, just so that they look a little bit different. They're not all the same, not for any other reason really. So I'm just going to place them before and I have shaped them. I just put them face down on my little mat here. If I just show you, and do the same with every single flower. So I've just put them face down on my mat, rub them with my ball tool on the petal ends so that they're shaping upwards. Flip it over and then just press it down in the middle, and it just gives it just a little bit of shape, so that when you're adding it to your card it's not completely flat. Just to make it look a little bit nicer. So I'm going to have a couple of large flowers, and then the rest are going to be small. So I think I will go on the ends like this. I'll just place them all before I start, and then I can glue them all into place afterwards. So if I've got a black and a white, put black there, and then my white there, and then a black one down here. Okay, now I think that looks okay, because you can still see the branch, which was what I wanted, which is what I didn't do on the one I did yesterday. So again, I'm using Lisa's fabulous glue, because to be honest, I can't ever see me using anything else, because it's just, once it sticks, that's it. You're never going to shift it. And believe me, I've tried, because when you sort of suddenly think, oh no, don't want it there, and you go to move it, too late, can't do that. So I'll just add my flowers to my card, and then of course all I've got to do then is just add the sentiment. And those sentiments, there's so many different ones. You can see here I've got a bit of glue here on my holographic card, but it does come off because it dries. You can just, I mean, I'm hardly putting any pressure on here with the flat of my little tweezers, and just scraping that off, and it will come off and it'll look great. I've glued that one already. Now you can see the little Santas just set these flowers off. I just think they're so genius, adding those little Santas to that die. And there are different sizes as well. So you can see the bigger ones would go on the bigger flowers. If you just wanted to use the, you know, that petal die and a centre, it's going to look equally as good. You don't need to make them complete flowers like I've done. But I just liked them, and I just thought I'm actually going to make them into like proper little, like cherry blossoms, I suppose, really, aren't they? Now, be careful when you're gluing to glitter card. I know I've said Lisa's glue is amazing, and it is, trust me. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't. But because you're gluing onto glitter card, it's going to take that tiny little bit longer to grab. So I've moved a couple of my flowers after I've stuck them down, but it's only because I'm sticking to glitter card, not because the glue's no good. Honestly, I really wouldn't say it was amazing if it wasn't. So if I left this for sort of half an hour and came back and stood it all up, nothing would fall off. I haven't done that one yet. Nothing would fall off, honestly. Yeah, see, they are sticking. But because this is such a beautiful glitter, you know, it is going to take that little bit extra time. So then the last thing I need to do is just add my sentiment. I mean, how easy is this card, putting this card together? All it is die cutting and gluing, die cutting and sticking. It's so easy. And then I'm just putting my happy anniversary in. I think I'm going to put it this side, and I'm going to put it just outside the lattice, so that it's sort of balances out the top, really. Okay, and I've put that on 3D pads because, again, I wanted that to stand up. But if you'd just done this on just the one backing card and then you wanted to stand it up, can you imagine the card stand done in the same glitter card and then standing your card up on it? I know you can't really see that. If I move it forward a bit, perhaps you can. Just wait for my camera to catch up. Yeah, you can see that. So if you just wanted to make it flat, then obviously you could write your sentiment on the back, or your greeting and whatever on the back of that, and you could have a beautiful stand to stand it on. But you don't have to. You can still make your card using two of the main backing sheets, which I think is just a brilliant idea. So you see, I've got flowers ready made there that I can use on another project, and I've got lots of flowers already cut out that I can carry on making. Now these here, these are the centres, like I showed you on here. These are some of these centres. So I've used that big one there, and then the smaller round one here. And I went over, again, cut from the same shaving foam background that I showed you earlier. And all I did was I went over it with one of Lisa's Sprinkle of Twinkle sparkle pens in the turquoise, just to pick out the turquoise in the flowers, really, and then just glued them down rather than using gems or pearls. I just thought, well, I wonder how much sparkle you get. Now I know you can't see it really on the card, but they do actually have quite a bit of sparkle to them. Those pens are beautiful. So there's my two cards. I know that seemed pretty quick, and I know I waffled for a bit at the beginning, but there was just 2 or 3 things that I wanted to go through with you just to show you how versatile some of these things are. And you could use this in so many ways, and you can make this bigger as well if you wanted to, because it's a repeating pattern. You could move it along your card and make it a longer panel, so you could use it on something completely different. So I hope you all enjoyed that today. I'd just like to say once again, thanks ever so much for joining me. I do really appreciate each and every one of you. So hopefully I'll see you on Monday. Have a fabulous weekend, everybody. Bye for now.